makes tons of toast every day.
What popular food is prepared like this?
How does industry rush breakfast to our tables?
Industry on Parade. Peabody Award winner for public service, produced on film each week by the National Association of Manufacturers.
Breakfast time in an American home. The odors of cooking begin to fill the early morning air as the household comes to life. This is the nutritious meal that will fortify the family for the busy hours ahead, ensuring a healthful start on another day. Yet, important as it is, breakfast takes only a few minutes to prepare. Reason? American industry has done much of the work before the various foods ever reach the house. Industry has helped improve the quality and variety of the foods available. It has helped the farmer increase production, and it has worked out ways to store, process, and distribute foods widely in abundance at low cost. And that's not all. From industrial research, ingenuity, and manufacturing know-how have come the breakfast utensils, too, and appliances like the one that makes uniform toast automatically while Dad tries to read his morning paper. Results are perfect at home because the factory that developed the toaster puts each appliance through its paces before passing it for shipment. This is part of the testing procedure at the Toastmaster plant at Elgin, Illinois, where mass production of appliances means mass production of trial toast as well. Cooking can be made automatic by a controlled bulb filled with fluid. When the bulb is cooled, the liquid contracts and turns up the flame, demonstrating a research achievement put to practical application like this by the Robert Shaw Fulton Controls Company of Youngwood, Pennsylvania. The cold pot increased the flame. When it's replaced by a hot vessel, the flame shuts off again. Now meet another man who helps make breakfast a pleasure, and our other meals too. A skilled potter gives first shape to cups for coffee, tea, or chocolate. More than 40 skilled trades are represented by the men and women who make fine china here at the Syracuse, New York plant of the Onondaga Pottery Company. The expert who puts the handles on must have a perfect touch, for the liquid clay that binds the parts together dries almost instantly. Now the cups are ready for the kill, but to keep them from warping in the intense heat, they're stacked rim to rim, so they support each other. Then the carload is carried along on a 3-day trip that will gradually heat the china to 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit before cooling it again just as gradually. Now 1/7 smaller than they were before they entered the kiln, the cups are examined for imperfections. And finally, after a dip in liquid glaze and another trip through the kiln, they're ready for decoration with decals. Around the rim, a coin gold line completes the chinaware.
Like china and the appliances we have seen, the food that goes on our breakfast table is also being constantly improved. Here, for example, at one of the many research farms maintained by industry, experts blend new feeds to improve the quality of poultry and eggs. There's even a device used solely to crack eggs in the interest of learning more about the structure and strength of their shells, conditions extremely important to both farmer and consumer, since stronger shells reduce costly breakage. These men are helping prepare the coffee that's so important to so many millions of breakfasts. By sipping and tasting, they decide in what ratio the different types of beans will be blended. Once the blending proportions have been decided, roasting begins, the proper roasting time being determined by the color of the beans. When just right, they travel on toward the grinder and often, as we'll see, to additional processes that will produce the increasingly familiar instant coffee. Frequent samples are analyzed in a continuing check on purity as the ground coffee and boiling water pass through great enclosed chambers that work exactly like home percolators, yielding in large quantities a brew that then goes on through filters and dryers for the elimination of moisture. Inside, the coffee drops to the bottom in the form of a free-flowing powder. It's a process that illustrates one of the many ways in which manufacturers have slashed the drudgery and waste of home food preparation while improving quality, uniformity, and price. Today, with demand for coffee at a record high, between a third and a half of it is brewed instantly. The making of bread is another chore industry has removed from the housewife's daily routine. Now at bakeries like this one operated by Pepperidge Farm, machines that are the results of years of development and millions of dollars of investment not only do the job faster, they also turn out a more nutritious, a tastier product. Nearly every stage of the process is as automatic as the toasting to come later at the family breakfast table. There are many products which reach our homes ready to serve in a form no housewife could ever duplicate, no matter how skilled a cook she might be. Among them is the widest imaginable variety of healthful breakfast foods, some made of grain that's literally shot from a battery of guns. The pressure and heat inside build up and they're ready to fire. Our cameraman is covered with puffed wheat. But the trip to the breakfast table is hardly more than just begun. The newly exploded cereal drops immediately to the floor below, where grains not precisely the right size are screened out. The wheat has hardly stopped moving since it arrived here at the plant, and it won't stop moving until it's been shipped. One of the breakfast foods that are uniquely American, a contribution of U.S. industry to our morning menus. Although it's already full of nourishment, the puffed wheat now moves along to be still further enriched in a spray treatment that literally rains vitamins on every kernel. Thus are entirely new forms given to the products of our farms, creating new demand. Thus also are the products improved and made more widely available than ever before with the help of amazing mechanical equipment like the machines in the packaging room. As the boxes move into position, each one receives a precisely measured quantity of cereal. The cereal is tamped to assure full measure. Then the top is closed and sealed. Only a short time after the wheat arrived at the plant, the breakfast food is ready for shipment and ready to eat when it arrives at its destination.
The shipping of foods for America's breakfast, like the processing, is being improved constantly by industry. Take bacon and other perishable meats, for example. At a Minnesota packing plant, we see a consignment of these products being loaded into special refrigerated vans, equally at home on railroad cars and delivery trucks. After a night-long train ride, they'll be transferred directly to the truck that will deliver them to the meat market tomorrow morning. The system assures fresh and eliminates the cost of breaking down and repacking carload lots. More perishables. At midnight, buyers gather to inspect the oranges, apricots, peaches, pears, plums, and pineapples arriving from afar for delivery to New York's millions. By working while others sleep, these experts help speed the produce to the stores in time for the start of business. Representing grocers, jobbers, wholesale and brokerage houses, they shop more warily than any housewife. Here's the buying in progress at the Brown and Seacombe Fruit Auction, where supply and demand meet head-on, night in and night out. Presiding is the amazing auctioneer who must know every face and every credit rating. It looks complicated, but it's economics in simplest terms. buyer and seller meeting and arriving through bargaining at the fairest possible price for the ultimate consumer. Sales are by the carload, and there's a constant flow of calls to the various offices on the price trends of the moment. Everything is rush, 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 for they're dealing with perishables that can lose half their value unless speeded to the consumer at freshness. Even as bidding continues upstairs, early purchases are loaded and started off toward the stores and supermarkets. From other trucks, meanwhile, more ingredients for America's breakfast are moving through the spotless processing plants of the dairy industry. Here, for example, bulk butter in 60-pound blocks is transformed into a form convenient for table or kitchen use. Quarter pounds are wrapped individually, 2 at a time, as here, or 4 at a time, making it possible for the shopper to buy any amount required without breaking open a carton. Another of the many ways industry has devised to help distribute our tremendous output of food conveniently. And in the same category of convenient packages, we find the familiar milk bottle, about to be thoroughly washed and sterilized before moving on to the intricate machinery that puts in the milk. The bottling process is speeded by creating a vacuum in each bottle just before it's filled. In this way, the milk is literally sucked into it, each machine filling 90 or more bottles a minute. Only a few hours after leaving the dairy farm, the milk is ready for delivery to stores and kitchen doors, uniformly high in quality and absolutely pure because of the processing it has received. Now, the milkman takes over, national symbol of all the hundreds of thousands who work through the night so that the rest of America can have a good breakfast on time. He's part of the army of industrial workers engaged in moving mountains of nutritious food efficiently from producers to consumers, wherever they may be. Breakfast is served, enriched by the national distribution made possible by our free enterprise system. The regions in which we live, the distances from farms and orchards, even the seasons, no longer limit the selection or the quality of our foods. Breakfasts, once unobtainable even by princes and kings, now are served to America's millions at low cost with the help of industries that work around the clock to give us a nutritious start on the new day.
American industry, builder of a better tomorrow, has presented Industry on Parade, a service of the National Association of Manufacturers.